All right, let's kick off this explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, and I mean literally game-changing shift that's happening at fuel pumps across India right now. We're talking about an energy transition that is going to fundamentally change what we put into our vehicles, how much we pay for it, and honestly, how our cars actually run.
To see exactly what's going on, just take a look at this number. India just inaugurated its very first E85 fuel dispenser in Delhi, and the fuel is priced at an incredibly tempting 82 rupees and 12 paise per liter. I mean, if you're used to wincing at triple-digit fuel prices every time you fill up, this looks like an absolute dream, right?
That price tag is roughly 20 rupees cheaper than regular E20 petrol in the national capital. It makes for an amazing headline for sure. But, well, before you rush out to the pump to fill up your tank, we really need to uncover the full story here. Is this new fuel actually going to cut your monthly fuel bills?
Okay, let's get into part one, the cheaper fuel catch. Let's start with what matters most to all of us, the wallet math. First, we kind of have to define what this fuel actually is. While normal E20 petrol has 20% ethanol blended into it, E85 completely flips the script. It's 85% ethanol and just 15% petrol. Now, this blend features an octane rating above 100, which is fantastic for engine performance. It burns much cooler and a whole lot cleaner than pure petrol. But here is the catch. Ethanol simply contains less energy per liter than petrol. Because its energy density is lower, your engine has to burn significantly more of it to generate the exact same amount of power. Globally, based on the engineering data, this translates to a massive 20 to 30% drop in your fuel efficiency. Let's put that into perspective with a quick road trip. Say you're driving 100 kilometers. With regular petrol at 102 rupees a liter, you might need 10 liters, costing you about 1,020 rupees. But with E85, because of that lower energy density we just talked about, you're going to need 12 to 14 liters to go that exact same distance. So, even at the much cheaper price of 82 rupees a liter, your total cost comes out to anywhere between 984 and 1,148 rupees. Basically, your final bill ends up being almost exactly the same. You're just buying more volume of a cheaper liquid to get the exact same result.
Moving right along to Section 2. What are flex fuel cars?
Now that we've cleared up the whole price illusion, let's look at why you can't just pump E85 into your current everyday car. To handle high ethanol blends safely, a flex fuel vehicle, or FFV, is built with highly specialized hardware straight from the factory. You absolutely need ethanol-compatible seals, stainless steel fuel lines, and upgraded fuel injectors. Plus, the brain of the car, the engine control unit, has to be completely recalibrated. It works with this dedicated ethanol fuel sensor that detects the exact ratio of ethanol in your tank in real time, adjusting the fuel delivery automatically without you lifting a finger.
So why go through the trouble of all these heavy-duty upgrades? Well, ethanol is highly hygroscopic. Actually, let's just say it acts like a giant sponge for moisture. It absorbs water straight from the air. If you put E85 in a standard car, that water-absorbing alcohol acts like a corrosive acid on standard aluminum and rubber. Your hoses and seals are at genuine risk of permanent damage. A flex fuel engine, though, is specifically engineered to handle all of that without breaking a sweat.
And you know, this isn't just theory. The industry is already making it happen. We're currently seeing vehicles like the Maruti Wagon-R Flex Fuel, which is India's first flex fuel passenger car, enter commercial production, alongside new flex fuel motorcycles from Hero. Right now, these are aimed primarily at commercial buyers. Why? Because fleet operators drive huge distances every single day, and even tiny per-kilometer savings from that cheaper pump price add up massively over a year.
Which brings us to Section 3, Flex Fuel versus EV.
With electric vehicles pretty much dominating the headlines lately, you might be wondering where flex fuel even fits into your future garage. Think of it this way. Flex fuel sits right in this highly practical middle ground. CNG is great for savings, but you lose your boot space to a giant cylinder. EVs have amazing zero tailpipe emissions, but they come with higher upfront costs, and you're relying on a charging network that's, let's be honest, still growing. Flex fuel vehicles, they give you standard boot space, you don't need a home charger, and best of all, if you can't find an E85 pump, you just fill up with regular petrol, the car adjusts automatically, boom, zero range anxiety.
Now, this next part is a real game changer. Automakers are actually figuring out how to solve that fuel efficiency drop we talked about earlier. Toyota recently showed off a prototype Innova Hycross that is an electrified flex fuel vehicle. It essentially pairs a flex fuel engine with a strong electric hybrid powertrain. Because the vehicle can run purely on battery power 60% of the time, it effectively wipes out that 30% fuel efficiency penalty. You get all the green benefits of ethanol combined with the stellar mileage of a hybrid.
Let's look at the bigger picture in Section 4. Why India needs ethanol.
Let's zoom out from our own vehicles and wallets for a second and see how this technology impacts the entire country. Right now, India imports over 85% of its crude oil requirements. We are spending hundreds of billions of dollars bringing oil in from other countries. Ethanol, however, is a homegrown, domestically produced biofuel. We generate it right here by fermenting sugars found in sugarcane, maize, and surplus rice. Turning our local crops into fuel is an absolutely massive step towards real energy independence.
Just look at the economic scale of this shift. Niti Aayog projects that by successfully achieving just a 20% ethanol blend, India will save a staggering $4 billion annually on its oil import bill. That is $4 billion staying right here inside the national economy rather than being shipped overseas every single year.
And hey, on top of the incredible financial savings, there is a huge public health benefit. Ethanol burns significantly cleaner than regular petrol. By using it, we are slashing harmful carbon monoxide emissions in our highly congested cities by an estimated 50% for two-wheelers and 30% for four-wheelers.
And we definitely can't forget the agricultural impact. Over the last decade, an astounding 87,558 crore rupees has been allocated to farmers involved in ethanol production. By creating a direct, reliable market for sugarcane and grains to be turned into fuel, it provides a stable floor for crop prices, drastically boosting rural economies. Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 5, the road ahead.
So the economics make total sense, the environment benefits, and the cars already exist. But when does this green transition actually reach your local fuel pump? Well, the government has aggressively fast-tracked this whole infrastructure. The E20 blending target was actually pulled forward by several years to 2025. Looking immediately ahead, the target is to have 500 dedicated E85 dispensing stations online by the end of 2026. And by 2027, the goal leaps to a massive 5,000 E100 stations across major Indian cities.
Now I know what you're probably thinking. Wait, what about the standard petrol car sitting in my driveway right now? Don't panic. India is adopting a multi-pump model. E85 and E100 will be sold from entirely separate dispensers alongside the normal E20. So standard blended petrol isn't going anywhere, and your current car will keep running exactly as it does today. No stress there.
This entire transition is being driven by comprehensive frameworks like the National Policy on Biofuels. Through a clever mix of tax incentives, blending mandates, and agricultural support, this roadmap is methodically reshaping the national economy. It's a multi-pronged solution that really balances the needs of the environment, the farmers, and of course, us drivers.
So we've seen that the cheap pump price of E85 might be offset by lower mileage today, but with hybrid technology rapidly closing that gap, and massive national benefits at play, flex fuel isn't just some passing experiment, it really is the future. As thousands of these new pumps arrive and the tech matures, the only question left to ask yourself is this: when the time finally comes to upgrade your car, are you ready to embrace the flex fuel